Welcome, everyone. We are live. It's for a high yay. Yes, it is. And I'm excited about that. And I trust that you are excited about that as well. I trust that you are excited about the fact that it is Friday, right? What you will gain. Lots of people ask all the time, well, what's the benefit of that? And why should I use the law? Why? What will you gain? Freedom. That's the biggest thing. Freedom from what? Think about the things we face now, right? You know, life itself. We get freedom. Freedom to choose the intensity with which we will live by. That's always a good thing. We get confidence. We can do anything. We get peace of mind. We get joy. There's so much to gain. There is so much to gain. Sometimes people only look at what they are going to lose. What are you? I'm going to lose my worry and my fretting. Yeah, thanks. Listen, just to lose that alone is a huge burden lifted off your shoulders, right? Worrying about the unknown, being afraid, being fearful. You lose that. Well, how would you lose it? Because then you begin to know that you are the author. You're the one writing your story. If you're the one writing your story, well, make it a beautiful one. Why wouldn't you? Give it a happy ending. Think about that for a moment. There's so much to gain from practicing the principles. Too many things to put into words, but once you experience them for yourselves, that's what makes the difference. I can only tell you one of the things you'll get is peace of mind. Confidence. That's a big one. Confidence to do what? Anything. Think about how we live right now, right? You don't want the confidence to know that you can change your life? I'll take that confidence, Alex. 500. I'll take confidence, please. Thank you. You see, we've been taught so much that life is unpredictable. The principles of the law is telling you that's not true. It is not unpredictable. The principle of rhythm tells us there's an ebb and there's a flow, right? There's an ebb, there's a flow. There's a push, there's a pull, there's a pattern, there's a rhythm. If you observe the pattern, you know when things are going to change. So how can it be unpredictable? It's not unpredictable. Not if you observe. We can tell when the seasons are changing. Like right now. After September 21st, the days get shorter. You get less daylight if you're living in the northern hemisphere, right? You get less daylight because of the position of the earth and how it rotates on its axis. Come December 21st, the days begin to get longer, begin to get more light. And all you get to do is observe that rhythm, observe that pattern. You know more light is coming because you've watched it. You begin to see when the darkness comes, when the days get shorter. So how is that unpredictable? It's not. It happens the same time, every time. That's why we can mark it down in the calendar, because we have observed it long enough to know that it is not unpredictable. So no, life is not unpredictable. So you see what you gain by living by way of the principles, by the law? You look at polarity and they say, oh, but that's opposites. No, no, it's not the opposite. It's just in a different state of itself. Best way to explain that. Right now, the garlic is buried in the ground. It's in the cold and dark, right? That's where the garlic is. Come spring, the garlic will sprout, because that's what was planted, garlic, but it's in the seed stage at the moment. And come spring, it will become only what it already is. So it's not opposite, it's just in a different stage of becoming itself. So that confidence that we get from knowing, oh, I'm going through something right now. So what's in me? What is within me? That's what I'm becoming on the other side. That appears to be the opposite. But it is an opposite. There's not two. There's only one thing becoming itself. It's just going through the stages. So you see, when you learn to use the principles deliberately, because the principles are happening all around us, but when you learn to use them deliberately in your own life, how do you do it? First, you must know what the principles are. Mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, gender. Those are the 7 principles. Mentalism, the all is mind, the universe is mental, is telling you, you know that you are. You will always know that you are. Can't not know that you are. You may forget who you are, where you are, what you are, but you will know that you are. What's the first thing you say when you've forgotten something? Oh no, I forgot. Who forgot? I did. You always know that you are. So what you know you are, you have to do as within, so without. Squeeze the orange. You must do what you say you are. There is no contradiction. So when people tell you, don't listen to what people say, but watch their actions, do you know why? Even if you, even if you watch them or listen to them, they always tell you who they believe themselves to be. What happens is we deceive ourselves into thinking that person is more or less than what they are. But they always show you what they are. They tell you what they are. No matter how flowery the words, they always tell you what they are. It is up to you, the observer, to not judge. Because when you judge, you blind the eye, deafen the ear. You can't see, you can't hear what they're saying to you because you've judged them. Right? Vibration tells us now that you're always moving. You're not standing still. But Angela, I feel stuck. You are not stuck in the sense that you are stationary and still. You're stuck doing the same thing the same way every time. The principle of vibration says everything moves. Nothing stands still. Listen, it looks like it's standing still because it's moving so fast, or it looks like it's standing still because it's moving so slow. But either way, it is moving. We are never still, my friends. And in that vibration, in that movement, we are moving from where we are to what we are becoming, where we're going. So when you hear polarity, you don't think opposites, because that can mislead. This is why we can say sometimes that love and hate, oh, that's not the same. Oh, yes, it is. Love and hate are exactly the same. They're just at a different stage of becoming what the original thing is. You just have to watch it and you'll see. The example I like to give with love and hate: you love somebody so much, you hate somebody so much, they get the same outcome, especially when you go extreme. And if you realize that life never goes extreme, does it? How can it go extreme? It can't go. Why not? Because rhythm compensates. So it's never going to go extreme. It is always going to go to match. Swing 90, come back 90. Swing 100, come back 100. You give your all, you get your all. Never an extreme, because rhythm always compensates. It gives you exactly what you are. So when you begin to comprehend and you say to yourself, when you catch yourself saying, oh, but I got the opposite. No, you did not get the opposite of what you are. You got exactly what you are. Look at what you gain. You gain knowledge. And you gain the ability to apply that knowledge. There's so much to gain. Your health. There's so much to gain. There is. But like I told you yesterday, it's not a one-time thing. It's a lifetime. That's why you take your time and you practice. You take your time and you practice. How do you practice? Step 1, you can see where you are. You can see what you're doing. And you get to decide if that thing that you're seeing and doing, if that's what you want. If you say, yes, that's what I want, well, then carry on. If you say, no, that is not what I want, then define what you want. Name it. What do you want to become instead? What is it that you want to become? Or who is it that you want to become instead of what you presently are? I'm sure you can name it. I'm sure you can see it. That is your only concern. What do you want to become? Who do you want to become? Then that is the question you answer. You don't launch into a tirade of your life story as to why you cannot, or how impossible it would be because nobody's ever done it before. That is not the question. You see, sometimes we just do too much. You answer the question, who or what do I want to become? I want to become more ... I want to become... Always you're focused on what you want to become instead of what you don't want. Why? Because when you are giving your attention to something to say, I don't want to be this, I'm tired of being this, where are you looking? What seed are you now? The very thing you don't want to be. That is why you take the time, you take the effort, the mental effort, because that's all it is, to clearly define what and who you want to become. And now that your attention is there, that's the seed you've planted. And because you've planted that seed, you have to reap that fruit or vegetable. But whatever it is you planted, by defining who you want to become, that is what is planted, and that is what you must become. Well, how are you going to become it? By practicing the mentality of it. You see, that mentality has an image attached to it. We see in pictures, you know. We see in pictures. You might hear words, but a picture develops. An image develops. Why? Because it's an imagination. So an image must develop from the imagination because that is the seed. It grows images. So that's what it's going to grow. So whether you hear, smell, taste, touch, you will generate an image. And when you begin to generate an image, there is a sensation in your body. Think about that for a moment. If I paint you an image of being on the beach, in the shade, and the water is crystal clear, a soft breeze, not enough to stir the sand because who wants that, but just a soft, gentle breeze. A bird flying overhead, ah! You know, flying over. You guys. Oh, God, save us. Ah, girl, you crazy. A bird gently flying overhead, hovering on the breeze. If you're in Barbados and you're at the beach, you will see the underbelly of the airplane and hear it and feel it as it flies overhead. Oh, yes. See, images come to mind. Feelings come to mind in your body, yes? So you see, begin to paint the picture, tell the story of who you want to become. And when you begin to tell that story, remember, as within, so without. What's happening within? You see, because you cannot see what is happening within. But how do you know something is happening within? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? You begin to feel what is happening within. You feel it. And when you begin to feel what is happening within as you paint that picture, see that part right there? You can feel it. It is telling you that what you are imagining and what you are feeling is telling you something. And if you are putting your attention upon that which you want to become, then the feeling and the image match. Because that's where your attention is. But if your attention is upon, oh, I can't do this, this is too far-fetched. Oh, that's too easy for it to be real. Oh, that's just a figment of my imagination. That must be delusions of grandeur. I must be crazy. I see that seed? Well, then your body will tell you and confirm for you that that is what you are thinking about and feeling at that present time. It'll confirm it for you, that which you hold to be true at every single turn. That is how you practice, by paying attention to those things. And when you begin to practice holding your attention, aka polarizing yourself in the direction that you want to go in, meaning the mental attitude of who you want to become. When you polarize yourself there, well, then, as within, so without, you must begin to see the pattern of what that mentality unfolds like. So, why is that important to see it? So you can know that you're doing the right thing. This is why you must always see the evidence of what is going on within you. And what's the evidence? Your behavior on the outside. So you see how you practice? What are you practicing? Making sure that that which is within matches that which is on the outside. Not that you have to force it, you just have to observe. When you see the exterior, how do you know? What do you start to say? Oh my God, what a coincidence. Oh, look at the synchronicities. Like yesterday. I was so tired yesterday. And I said her name, and I'm not going to say her name now because everybody's thing will act up if I say it. But I said her name. I said, can you play me some Christmas music? And the first thing that came out of that stereo was Santa Baby. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Who was singing it? Eartha Kitt. And I said to myself, girl, that could not have been a better moment for you. Eartha Kitt is my all-time favorite. How? Why? Because people said to me, oh my God, you sound like her. And I was like, what? I never saw that myself because that was not my thing. But over time, I began to see what they were talking about. And she's from there grew to be my favorite person, right? And so here I was, tired. And what should come out? Yeah, Eartha Kitt. And what was the second song? Listen, I was on a roll. And do you know what two songs they kept playing? They'd play a smattering of songs in between, but they always played those two songs. I don't want a lot for Christmas. There is just one thing I need. That's the song. And I said, girl, and let me tell you, my energy perked up right away. Some would call it a coincidence. All I knew was this. I was tired and I wanted to hear some music that I enjoyed that would perk me up. I couldn't, I know that those two songs are my all time favorite for Christmas. I can tell you that. I know that much. I had no idea what was going to come out of the radio. I just know there's going to be a song that's going to make me feel like I want to dance because I'm tired. And dancing always makes me feel better. So, what I couldn't tell you was what song was going to be played. All I knew was I was going to dance. I was going to hear something I enjoyed. That's all I knew. It's all I knew. And somewhere along the line, I was going to hear those two songs because they're Christmas songs. That's all I knew. So you see what happens to us? We know what we want to become, right? I was tired. I wanted to have more energy. And music always does that for me. It energizes. It's a good vibration. It just makes you feel good. And that's what I wanted. And in myself, I knew what my favorite songs were. And coincidentally, funny word, the interior matches the exterior. That's how you know that what you are practicing is lining up because you see it as it unfolds. And I kid you not, my coworker and I were like, wait, are those the only two songs they have on here? Because we could hear other songs. But they play five songs and they'd come right back to those two over and over and over again. So much so that we both remarked on it. But why did it happen? Because I said her name. Play me a Christmas song. So think about that for a moment. If you were having a quote unquote bad day and you're out here in these streets and you're complaining and something happens to you, you may not have seen that that particular thing would happen, but that particular thing lines up with where your attention is every time. But you see, we take those things for granted and we have separated ourselves from what we see around us by thinking, that's not on me. That's your fault. What now? Because we judge and we want to blame. No, own it. And that is how, when you begin to see what you are doing, you can change. I trust that that assisted you in understanding why and taking stock as to what you will gain from using the law. I cannot name everything you will gain. It's too much. So the question now becomes, do you want it? Do you want? Do you want to gain? You see, we get caught up in gaining physical things. But you have to remember, the physical is the embodiment. But you see, we tend to look towards, oh, I want that, and I want that, and I want that, without truly comprehending how that gets on the outside. How does that get on the outside? Because I am that. We see money as something physical. But before it is physical, it is non-physical. Oh, sure, it comes off a printing press. And they print it at will, let me tell you. And if, listen, they print it at will. But you let me get a machine and I print it at will. Oh, and it'll be problems. Get what I'm saying to you? But before it comes off the press, it is in you as something else. So if you look at your mental attitude, you'll begin to recognize if, through your behavior, if those two things correspond. All the physical things that we want in life are first psychological, masculine. And to give them form, they have a psychological mental attitude. Practice the mental attitude of the thing, and it will take shape. Again, practice the mental attitude of the physical thing you want to embody. But Angela, I want a yacht. What's the mental attitude of owning a yacht? That is what you begin to practice and to rehearse. The yacht will take shape Because you are forming it in your mind's eye with the mental attitude. Angela, I want my knees to work. I want to drop it like it's hot. I want my waistline to work. I want to move, you know? I'm tired of this physical pain I'm in. What is the mental attitude of a body that is healthy? If you were walking up them flight of stairs talking about, Adrian, you know, Rocky, right? If you're running up those stairs, are you crawling up those stairs or are you running up those stairs with pizzazz and pep in your step? A body that works. The mental attitude of the physical thing. Because it starts invisible. And it starts invisible as a mental attitude. So you see, look at everything you will gain from rehearsing and practicing the law on a daily basis. I ain't gonna keep you because it snowed overnight and I gotta take my time. I'm gonna take my time. That melody is so cool. I put a whole bunch of words to that melody sometimes, you know, because I don't even know I just know the melody. I don't know the actual lyrics of the song. Dun, 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 dun. Right? But I gotta take my time and drive to work. So think about what you will gain when you practice. Remember, you want freedom? Freedom is physical, isn't it? There's things you can do physically when you're free that you can't do if you're not physically free. So what is the mental attitude of freedom? Well, that depends. What way are you not free? As within, so without. Which way are you captive? Then that will determine the type of freedom you're seeking. If it's poverty, obviously, freedom from poverty would be what? Access and the use of resources. So that's what that freedom will look like from poverty. Remember, rhythm compensates. It will always match. So wherever you are at and what you are facing has its solution. Anyway, who is kicking it with us today? YouTube and Facebook. I know there's somebody there. Who are you? Who? I really want to know. Say hello in the chat. I wonder, could you be my lovely Liza? Hmm? Liza, I didn't get an email from you yet. I've been waiting for an email from you. Look. Oh, Miss Liza, maybe it's the better man. Who knows who it is? Who knows? You know. But I see you nonetheless. Twitter is as Twitter is. A couple people did stop by in Twitter. But Twitter again is for the replay gang, and that's all right. Who's with us today on Fanbase? Ray is in the house. My sweet Casey. I see you, darling. Say hello to mama. Hmm? Big Mike, who is in the house? I don't know what that is, Big Mike, but that's the sound I can make. Commander is in the house. Hello, Commander. It is always a pleasure to see you. It is. Let's see what the chat is like. Oh, Queen Mo stopped by. And Jessie May stopped by too. Oh. Well, thank you. Yes, life is mental. There you go. Practice and rehearse. That mental attitude is key, my darling. And you can make it a habit, that particular mental attitude. Yes, definitely. Ooh, I'm all out of love. I gotta replenish my stock. I gotta replenish my stash of love here on Fanbase. Anyhow, y'alls, I'm gonna get up and comb my hair, and cause I'm 90% ready, and I will feed the chickens. I say chickens like I got a whole farm. I just got a broody hen and a I don't even want to say injured rooster because sometimes the way he moves, I'm like, are you sure? Because you look pretty active to me, but he is. You can't put him in a flock because he won't last. So I gave him his own flock, him and Lady, you know? And he was awake early. Oh, he was awake real early at the crack of dawn this morning. I said, Chad, no, now it's not the time. But he does what he wants because he's king of the roost. And I keep telling him, I let you think you're king of the roost, darling. And then he chases me, and I'm like, okay, fine. Anyway, the Chicken Chronicles. But that's my baby, my little Roo. I can't believe his name used to be Henrietta. Because we all thought he was a girl. And he was like, no, 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 no. I am not a girl. And he crowed. And I was like, oh, you're really not a girl. But I digress. Listen, I could talk about my chickens. Oh, they Miss McQueen. Hey, girl. I was just saying this morning, I said, ooh, I missed her. She must be full of turkey. So she can't talk right now. Look, let me tell you the weather because I like seeing your vomit emoji. It's -10. Feels like -17. That's what the weatherman is saying. It feels like -17. And we're supposed to have sunrise by 8:15 this morning. I said, who you lying to? Sunrise. Sunrise. And that Nora, whatever her name is. Anyway, we supposed to have sunrise. But lies. I ain't see no sun. Not a lick of sun with those clouds. It's gray. Ooh. It is, but you know what? It is beautiful in its own way. Everything is beautiful in its own way. Yeah, winter is beautiful in its own way. It really is. Such a stillness. I'll keep talking to you, but I gotta go brush that car off. It's not gonna brush itself. So, anyhow, if you missed this morning's message, y'all gonna have to catch the replay. Ah, Melly Mel is in the house. Oh, look at Michael Justice 1460. Out here with his photo. What is his photo? Sunrise. Why, thank you, sir, for showing me at least that sunrise. It is glorious, isn't it? Something to be said about it. It is beautiful, the sun. Mm-hmm. It is. It is. I love you all. And I will see you on Monday. Yes, I'll see you Monday. And we'll talk some more. But remember yourselves and practice. What you gonna practice? Seeing where you are and then deciding where you want to be instead and allowing yourself to tell and paint the story, the picture, imagination of what you want to become. And you persist in telling that story. Because as you persist in telling that story begins to take shape inside your brain first as what? A memory. Or as cats, memory all alone in the moonlight. Yeah, the story that you tell begins to take shape in your brain as a new memory. And then, as that story takes shape and becomes that new muscle memory, eh, you will begin to experience in reality what you had experienced in your imagination. Not because I say so, but because that is law. Well, that's what you do. And the final step is to know that what you are doing is taking shape in the exterior. Oh, you can't see it just yet. But if you pay attention, these words will come out of your mouth. These words, coincidence, synchronicity. What are those things? They are the embodiment of the mental attitude that is within you. So, what you gonna do? Are you gonna practice? Yeah. Well, I sure am gonna practice. Why? Because it's not a one-time thing, it's a lifetime thing, isn't it? And look at what you will gain. Mm, I love each and every one of you. And thank you for being here in all of your glory. Morning has broken. You know what? I just flashed back to my primary school days. Imagine, if you will. You know what cymbals are, right? The handheld ones that you crash together. Two hi-hats then, if you're a drummer, but they're handheld. And that was my instrument. Now, nobody could see me because I'm in the back of the choir, right? Because I got the cymbals, so I'm in the back of the choir. And when we sang that song, Morning has, as soon as you hear broken, your girl had to crash those cymbals together. Imagine, if you will, a little itty bit of nothing in the back row, and all you can do is hear me. It flashed me back to that moment in my life when I had to play those in primary school in the pageant, because it was choir, right? But we were doing this presentation. Oh, yeah. I got some fond memories of school. And that's all anybody said. Woo, we knew you were there. We couldn't see you, but we heard you. I said, well, hallelujah. Then my role is fulfilled. You can hear me. That's how I make my difference. Yes. Well, that's a revelation if I ever heard one so early in the morning. Oh. Anyway, I love you. I'll see you Monday. Go forth and do what? Practice. And then look at everything you gain. I love you. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Love you. I will close all rooms now. Peace out.